The following podcast contains mature language and adult discussion.
Kev, in all this market madness, it's really swallowing the news. It's hard to get coverage of anything but the kind of the pandemonium coming out of Washington. And we talked yesterday, and you had kind of an enlightening. I saw some comments this week, Kevin. A few of the fans said that they appreciated the economic discussion. Economics, not politics.
Right. Totally different. People say, I'm so tired of turning on and listening to politics. There's a big difference when you go to a college course and it's a poli-science course and there's an economics course. So we were talking more economics. It's just that, they kind of are intertwined right now. But
you had a meeting with your financial people to plan your next year. And
they really fought me,
forcing you to diversify into multiple products. And you were trying to explain what Berkshire Hathaway is to people in the industry.
It's one of those things. So I believe in science. So I've got this meeting on Tuesday, and I'm sitting there and I'm going in between. I've actually just turned the TV on because I've already been upstairs, showered, and everything else. And I said, let me just see where the markets are at before I go, which would make sense. Let me just turn on CNBC and see where the markets are at, because Bloomberg's too busy. There's too much shit going on the screen for Bloomberg. So I go to get on it, and I see Warren Buffett talking to this woman. He's in the back of an Escalade. He's talking about how he used to shoplift at this Sears. And I'm like, what? And so I press the guide, and it's an hour-long special on Warren Buffett, the teacher, the myth, the prophet. And it's on the television. So I immediately hit the record because
this is an hour before you have to go convince.
No, this is I'm leaving the house in like 5 minutes. I just turned this on to see, and up pops Warren Buffett. So, I'm just like, wow. So I'm already 1,000% sure of what I'm doing. I just need to get it done, and I go in there, and they're double teaming me, and they're trying to convince me that this isn't, as it's, year to date 10%, a 10% gain on a year to date when the market is down 10%.
Yeah.
So I just looked at them. I said,
but question, Kev, even if they don't sell you one of their products, they have a piece of your investment, right?
I think it's so much. I mean, I think that they might get 1.35% at the end of the year it's not the same as if they're actively.
If it's one of their products.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my whole thing is, my job isn't to make you money. That's not my job. Your job is to make me money with my money. It's not my job to make you money. And so this is when they look it's now I used to be with the father-in-law. Now I'm with the son-in-law, because he's getting ready to retire in October. He looks at me and goes, Buffett isn't in charge of that anymore. I said, no, Abel is and has been for the last 2 years. I said, it outperformed the S&P last year. I said, we were at 23%. I said, dude, I said, look at I said, I just looked through my whole portfolio today. I mean, I'm sitting on the fucking stool, going through it, I'm marking through it, and it's like, if I would have put everything I had in that, I would have, I'd have another like a million seven. I'm like, how are you going to talk me out of this?
I'm guessing it didn't work.
No, it didn't work. And then, so today, the deal goes through, but Tamara and I still have to go up there and sign paperwork that we weren't coerced or under duress in making this move. So I guess any time that you do over a $500,000 move, especially out of one of their funds,
So it's standard operating. You would have to do that.
I don't know. I just think it's, to me, it feels like I'm running a steeplechase and they just added another fucking water hazard.
Mm.
And I just told him, I said, you know what? I said, man, we had a long talk yesterday because, I used to be very hands-on. And this is one of those, I haven't been for a long time because the market was so good. But now it's like, okay, I need to, I don't want to get knocked out by a right hook. So I need to, do as much research and everything. I said, man, I looked at everything. I said, my position should be cash. And I just looked at it. I said, what is Buffett doing? I said, Buffett's at, Berkshire Hathaway's at $342 billion in cash, which is, I said it to you, it's like more than the Federal Reserve has,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I said, why wouldn't I give my money to him? Because in that way, Berkshire Hathaway will buy when it's time to buy, because that's what they did. They just sold from having 250 to basically, they've got $100 billion that they've sold, and they're waiting for the market to crash to go in. So why would I not align myself with him?
It's what you'd be doing anyway, probably.
Absolutely.
With advice, yeah.
So it's like, I need a touchdown. We're on the one, and I play for the Eagles. You know what? Let's not do the tush push. Let's fucking take it around the end this week. Maybe we'll catch him off. No, motherfucker, we're doing the tush push.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing, and it's my money.
Don't go lateral.
God, I was just, so I'm in a much better mood because I've made my decisions. Tamara is blessed my decision, so I'm good.
Yeah.
Financially, I'm just going to ride out the tariffs and whatever else that this administration throws at me. I found some very interesting. I did some research on the tariffs, and there was in 62 there was a section 232 that they put together, and so what's the guy, the Secretary of Commerce name? Is it Lupkin, the new guy?
L-E-U-A, yeah.
Lupkin. So this was basically this section 232 was set up so that the Secretary of Commerce would do an investigation and determine whether or not any of the trade things that we were doing threatened national security.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, one of the biggest things is, because of the war effort, it's steel, steel and aluminum. So it kind of encompassed that. And then by doing this, they gave him the opportunity to bypass Congress. And then I want to think it was, well, what did it mean? I mean, I made a note for myself here because I don't want to get this wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So President Trump put Presidential Proclamation 10896. It revoked the 232. It's the Steel and Aluminum basically Act, and it also it includes the EU steel tariff and all that. So, and then we went back and forth with Mexico and Canada in 2018 when we were still under NAFTA, and Trump put 25% tax, put tariffs, 25% tariffs on both countries, and then they went back to the table and put together the U.S. Mexico Canada agreement. And they did that. They signed that in 2020, which is the agreement we're under right now with both the countries. And so people are saying, why is Trump still doing the tariffs if he just signed this? He was the guy that signed the agreement in 2020, which, you know, the reasoning behind it was supposed to bring $70 billion in GDP and 175,000 jobs. And so, but I did the research today, and the tariffs that Trump is putting on Canada and Mexico are outside of that agreement.
Right. Because the what was the original one called? The number.
The original, the NAFTA was the first one. They came in and did that. Then the next one that they put together in 2020 was the U.S. Mexico Canada agreement.
Right, but the one that predated those, which
that's the Section 232.
Okay, the 232, right. So I got to say, when we was it a Jon Stewart clip? When we saw the Jon Stewart clip where he showed when Trump was being critical of the deal that he signed, it was outside of
that deal.
Right.
Yeah. So, and that's CNN and MSNBC giving you their soundbite on something that's not what's going on.
Right.
So that's the whole thing. It's just like people's, you know, he lives in your brain. Nobody lives in my brain rent free. You just gotta spend some time and find shit out.
Yeah.
You
and
know?
everything's Googleable today. If you
it
have
really
5 minutes,
is, man.
You can find it.
And with AI, man, AI will find it.
Yeah.
So
true.
You know, I look at it and I say to myself, I'm just going to say this, if you can run with it, or we can be done with it. But the bottom line of this whole situation is DOGE is put in place to go in and find, basically, let's just call it fat. You know, over budgeted this, over budgeted that. Like Linda McMahon cut, I think, 2,000 jobs today in education. But that's the headline because she's an ex-wrestling CEO, not the fact that the Trump administration is going to take the funding and put it back in the state's hands.
Mm-hmm.
So, because everybody knows that lives in Mississippi and Louisiana and all those states that the federal government's done such a knockout job of making sure that our kids are educated.
But here's the thing, though. Well, I'll let you finish.
Oh, so we wouldn't have to. We could still go into every one of these departments, but we wouldn't have to go in with a fucking wrecking ball. We could go in with a scalpel And we could really find, I mean, there's not one of us that hasn't heard the stories in our lives of the U.S., the Pentagon buying $20,000 hammers. We've all heard those stories. And so, and it exists, along with the $13 million for the Iraqi Sesame Street and everything else, the bullshit that we do. But at the same time, we're looking for $4.5 trillion to give the 1% tax cuts.
This is the bottom line
That's
of what's
it.
happening here. The whole purpose of finding fat isn't to benefit anybody, but to offset that tax cut so they could take the money.
So my whole thing is this. If you don't offset the tax cut, if you actually acquire the taxes, so you the taxation is $4.5 trillion, and that tax comes in, doesn't that knock our deficit down by 4.5? Am I wrong?
No, I don't think so. But
So somebody walk me through it. I'm just a wrestler, retired.
the problem is the haste that these cuts are being doled out in, the shock and awe of it all, to be headline grabbing and rather than more surgical scalpel. How many oops situations have we heard so far? We've sent headlines back and forth.
Oh my
when they're
God.
like, oh, didn't realize we cut the avian flu people. Okay, they're back.
The people that were watching the nukes.
Yeah, right, exactly. And then there was an article today. I grabbed this at 5:51 p.m. The administration took an axe to more than a dozen pollution rules in a rapid-fire deregulation. About 31 announcements in 2 hours, where the releases, the I guess press releases, wherever they would send this out for public information, like the Public Information Department at the White House, there were typos, little placeholder brackets that they never got the answer for what was supposed to be in the memo. The haste with which this is happening, it's like our gang in legislation. So that's more the concern. Fat in Washington, fucking go for it. Like,
Absolutely.
free up every fucking dime you can. Not for your pocket. I'm speaking to Washington, not you.
Right.
Not for your pocket. If it's going to benefit us as a people, a we, not an I, a we, if it's going to benefit a we, go for it. But it's not being done. It's not being smart sourced. It's not being intelligently divided, the pie. We're not cutting.
No, I don't see an upside of trimming 80,000 jobs from the VA.
Oh my God.
And they're saying that by June. I want to see the upside of that.
The DOJ pardon attorney this morning, I was reading in the paper, was fired when she refused the order from the White House to restore Mel Gibson's gun rights after his domestic violence debacle, whatever, 15 years ago or whatever that was, 14 years ago now. And she wouldn't. And she was fired from the DOJ today. Or yesterday, I guess. It was in this morning's paper.
We had lovely Pam Bondi down here in Florida.
Pam Bondi.
We're all very familiar with her.
So
you know what? And she wasn't absolutely the drizzling shits, but it's like anything else. You know, you walk in a room and everybody's fucking sticking a pie in the other one's face, and there's a fucking plate, there's a fucking table full of pies. It's kind of hard not to grab a pie and smash it. You know,
jump in. Yeah.
I just wish that they would sit down like adults. And I mean, Donald, if you're listening, President Trump, send me that Trump airline down to Daytona Beach. I'd be more than happy to sit across the table from you. Man, we can eat some. I like some McDonald's. I'll eat a double quarter pounder with you. And before you do anything, man, you can like run some shit by me. I'm just a real common sense guy. I would say, maybe we wait on that.
Yeah. All right. Well, so the great cartoon continues. We're a few months in, and
You know, I
everything seems fine.
I really hope, um, for our country's sake that I just you you can't take like bourbon and things like that. Like everything that's going to the EU now, like bourbon's going to go up, motorcycles, like everything we ship is going to go up, and it's just I saw just a mom and pop's bourbon thing on the one of the news cycles, and there was like $150,000 pallet, which isn't the world, but it is to a mom and pop's that was had the labels on it, shipped to Canada, and it ain't going. And it's just like that's huge.
I just wish that the general populace knew more was just better educated on a cross section of things. Just a basic amount, like I steadfastly believe that majority of the people you stop on the street cannot explain to you how a tariff works.
No.
They don't understand that we're paying the tariff. When it comes, if you own a company, Kevin, and you're importing your parts for your thing from China, you're paying it.
Yes.
And you're charging the customer for it.
When you're Canada and you drive across the Ambassador Bridge and you get stopped at the U.S. border, you are paying a tariff before you bring whatever you're bringing into the United States. That company is playing that. So, and the same thing goes when we go to Great Britain, and we go in there and it's like I don't know the bad. Maybe not Great Britain because they're not actually considered EU.
Right, that's true. But anyway, that doesn't
Just dump it on
distract from
France.
the point.
Dump it on France.
Germany, Italy. There's a stable economy. But anyway, and the other component of this, Kevin, and not just not understanding tariffs. Every person that I've seen try to defend this tariff decision, from Maria, what's her name on Fox, Bart, I'm going to destroy the name, Maria B, to just man on the street interview stuff. They talk about equality in trade. They're talking about that you can't have the discussion about equality in trade if you're not willing to allow our workers to make what they make in China. The abuses in the workforce in places like China and India don't talk about equality, because an American product is going to always cost more because of our labor laws, and that we treat our workers fairly and give them pensions and pay them a certain wage. So equality in trade has to be taken off the table when you have this discussion.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is basic, but I really don't believe people understand it.
We produce 89 metric tons, I think is the I think it's 89 metric tons of steel. China exports 97. I mean so we don't make enough steel to not. I think we import maybe 26% of our steel from Canada. And I'm watching things today, and there's guys that are running, steel plants in the United States, CEOs, and they're saying, "Oh no, we can more than supply." And I'm looking at them going, "Well, if you can more than supply, then why are we importing all this steel and aluminum?"
Yeah.
The guy from Coors said, "Shit, if This is going to cripple us. We with the aluminum.
The cans.
Yeah. So you got to, number one, man, you got to be real. Like I watched Fox News the other night when the S&P just tanked like 7 points. And I'm thinking like, okay, I wonder what's Fox News's take on this. They did a half-hour piece on the transgender grunge singer that opened for Bernie Sanders someplace. I mean, they're still going into this culture war shit with us. I'm like, and I get it, man, because the Democrats, I mean, it ain't like we've pounded some flag on fucking Iwo Jima and said, we're taking a stance. Like, Newsom in fucking California, they want to hang him because he says, no, dude shouldn't be fucking playing with women. And, he took that stance, and it's just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, man.
But you know what? But by being so publicly vocal about that, he's positioning himself because he's reading the room. I refuse to get on the fucking AOC bandwagon that we didn't try hard enough. This was a referendum on a lot of extreme shit on the left side that we weren't comfortable with. But
Bill Maher's gotten so much shit in the last couple of years, and I saw Bill Burr the other day. He was talking about sneakers, and a bunch of people were fucking ragging on him, and they were just like, "Man, doesn't it kill you when you're fucking the people you really looked up to, they sell out, they turncoat." No, man, we just got fucking drilled. Like, guess what? If you got a shitty quarterback, like that's what the off season's for. Mm-hmm. Trade.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. It's a pain in the ass, Kevin, almost as much as the stuff we're talking about. When I put my bulky wallet in I always keep it on the left side, the left rear pocket. In the winter, I keep it in my coat, but when I have to go out and it's got to be in my pants, and you sit and you're driving, you can really misalign. I get backaches and like sciatic pain from my gigantic fucking wallet jammed with cards. And then I stuck a Ridge in my pocket, courtesy of our friends at Ridge. And I'd seen them all over the place. I'd seen ads for them actually on TV. And I just never got it. I just never understood what.
Well, the beauty of that stuff is you can put it in your front pocket.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. You can't do a wallet in your front pocket. And there's a perfect illustration there. So in addition to holding the money in the clip portion, the card distribution in this, I'm going to do it real time here for you guys, pops right out. And there it is. And it goes right back in. It's held together by the band here. And you can make adjustments based on the amount of cards you're carrying. But I'm going to hold the profile of this. If I had my wallet here, I'd show you. It doesn't even come close. This is a lifesaver for your back and your ass and looking for places to put your wallet. And it's sturdy, too. I mean, I wish you could touch it. If you are somebody who's carrying around one of these bulky, overstuffed wallets, it's bad, poor leather quality, then you need to meet my friend Ridge. And there's an illustration of all the different styles and colors and textures you could have. It's so much fun when I got to go through the website and pick my Ridge. You can securely and safely hold up to 12 cards plus cash. Okay, there's not all this unnecessary bulk from the seams and the stitching and all the shit in the wallet. It's made from premium, high-performance materials like carbon fiber, titanium, and stainless steel. Ridge wallets are built to last. They actually come with a lifetime warranty, meaning it's the last damn wallet you're going to need to buy. A slimmer Ridge wallet helps you in many ways in addition to what I'm talking about, keeping it in the pocket. And it protects you from digital pickpockets, too, because of the technology in this cover. Scammers can now scan your pockets these days and steal your credit card info wirelessly, but Ridge has the block for that, okay? For a limited time, this deal's amazing. We're going to give you 40% off your order by going to ridge.com/kliq. That's Ridge, RIDGE.com, /KLIQ for up to 40% off. 50 colors and styles. It's not just functional. You can personalize this thing. If you want slick black, the carbon fiber. Kev, I think, wasn't that what T was rolling with?
T has had a Ridge wallet since had one since 2020.
You know, he's cooler than us, obviously. He was ahead of the curve. But I remember when I talked to you about this, you were like, yep, that's T's. And, I mean, it's not just about wallets. They have, I could take that. I got a bunch of the gimmicks here. Key rings, all with the same security features, all with the same durability that I'm talking about here on the Ridge wallet. Okay, here's the keychain, okay? Same situation. Guys, no matter what you pick, Ridge has free shipping and a 99-day risk-free trial. You got nothing to lose. So they're having their once-a-year anniversary sale right now. So please, get up to 40% off at ridge.com/kliq, KLIQ. Just head to ridge.com/kliq and see their biggest sale of the year. It's going on right now. After you purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. Please support us and tell them that we sent you. Thank you, Ridge. Our new friends at Ridge.
T definitely sent him. It was it was funny because like his room is got like a lot on his desk he's actually has 2 Ridge wallets, and he's got one that he actually lost, and then he went and got another one, and then so that's the one that's got his driver's license and all that. And that sits on his desk. But when that came, I went in there and I said, I think T, and I said, yep. This is exactly what he had.
Yeah. And
I mean, I see why. I mean, I had a version of a different company, and then when I got this one from Ridge, I said, well, if they're gonna back me, I'm gonna back them.
mm-hmm.
So I switched, but I was the same one. I found one when I was a brand that was out of Canada, and but it wasn't as small as what this Ridge was, and the one that I have will only hold 5 cards.
Oh, really? Yeah. No, this is up to 12 on this.
So I have my license, my legal cannabis card, and then my AAA, and then after that, like when I went on the road, I'd go on the road with the other one. I'd have to either take, like, if it was a Marriott, I'd take my Marriott, then I'd take my American Express Platinum, and that was all I would take. That'd be my 5 cards, and I'd be up. But this has more capacity, so I don't have to.
I mean, you could slide this in a breast pocket even, and it'd be almost undetectable when you go out. Try that with your fat-ass wallet. Disturbing walking around with these giant wallets. Thank you, Ridge, for coming aboard. Kev, I mentioned disturbing, and the bloodfest of AEW Revolution that I did not sit through, so I won't purport to have done so.
I didn't know that Peter Cushing was still booking.
It's good a little. I was looking for Vincent Price. I got excited. Yeah, you know, the Tony
House
and Mariah,
House of a Thousand Corpse.
But that's exactly what that looks like. Get the DVD cover up, House of a Thousand Corpses. It probably is that.
Johnny, are you in there masturbating? No. Anything but. I'm watching AEW wrestling.
I think Wes has House of a Thousand Corpses on his wall in a movie poster size. So yeah, I don't know why. I don't know if this is proper to say.
That's a nasty gig, man.
Yes, that's it. And it's it looks hard way, man. It just
no, it doesn't look. That looks pretty.
It's like a hole. Looks like a goddamn bullet hole.
Look, it's a slit.
Well,
I don't know what the hell she. Would she use a fucking box cutter?
I don't know.
Am I the only
chisel? It's the golden spike from Kevin Sullivan.
Why is it the one on the left kind of hot? Oh, maybe.
Even with
Yeah.
the crimson mask,
Yeah.
huh?
I'm looking
Yeah.
at that going, you know.
That's the zombie art book. But Kev, it bothers me. Can I say this nowadays? Is it because I'm a dad of 2 daughters? I don't like the excessive female violence. I'm not talking about in a match that it's all worked and the flip-de-doos and all that. When I see stiff shit with the ladies, it bothers me. And that fucking blood is...
If CM Punk and Seth Rollins can go 30 minutes in a cage in the garden and not get a drop of blood and tell us the story they need to and get Roman involved, there's no reason whatsoever that it's a work. Everybody knows it's a work. Why in God? I mean, why would you juice?
I'm not opposed to blood in wrestling. It does a... Kevin Gilboa said, "God damn, she's hot." It's not... I'm not opposed to gigging in wrestling, and I'm not a wrestler, so I understand that might be offensive to say I'm a fan of you guys mutilating yourself. The blood did add an element of...
I think if it's used sparingly, it's incredible. If it's used 4 times in 9 matches,
No, all right, well, sure, right. I get it.
that's bullshit. That's poor. That's like having 4 ladder matches.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's absolute no control of a situation. If you got color in 4 matches.
Yeah. I don't know. It's something that's fascinating me. Blood in wrestling is a very interesting topic to me because of how it was used. And like you said, when it was used sparingly, maybe... look, if you went to a card in the 70s or early 80s, maybe... I don't mean ECW or something. I'm talking about like a WWF card, WCW card, Crockett's. That was a special thing. That happened in places on the card where it was used as a tool.
But it happened every night.
In house shows, you mean?
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah, I mean, Rick got color every night, and I'm telling you right now, if you've ever gotten color, it makes the night a lot easier. You
Tell
gotta
me.
work. You just don't have to work as hard.
Oh. Yeah, I guess.
You know, there's no guess about it.
No, I mean, I guess that's something to consider.
No, it's
But
a
you
fact.
guys, though, yeah, but asking you guys to do it, I'm torn in saying that blood
I
was
don't
exciting.
think you know, I don't think that those guys were asked. I think they just did. Dusty used to kick his arms.
Yeah.
You know, those guys were just that was just that era. But man, they were, you know,
With the dirty mats and stuff, how did we not see so much more infection, like staph infections?
I bet you if I got color 10 times in my life, probably.
Because of the era, maybe, right? They were cleaning it up.
No, I mean I could have got it more often. I just wasn't something I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I didn't want to mutilate my forehead.
Britt is sharing that those girls in the ring bled more than she did during her 5-day monthly cycle. Thanks, Britt. Listen, if you're gonna roll with us, you can do tough talk. You can do locker room talk.
That's.
I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't like it. I think we should cut it.
I
we
think
should
that
defund it.
if it's, I saw one time. I think Britt Baker got color in a match, and it was the last match of the night or close to that. It was like the only person, and it was because she's attractive and it fit the storyline. It made a difference, but the other girl didn't get color.
But the gravitas, it added to the gravitas of the match.
I mean, it was
the beautiful girl.
And you thought that she got hard way.
Right. Yeah, it's brutal. I don't enjoy it. I'll look at Abby bleed all day long. About every damn magazine cover.
God, I used to sit there
Carlos
in the locker room after Abby would get colored, and you have those long wooden Q-tips. And he'd be cleaning the gimmicks like, ugh.
Oh, and those big slats on his head. Yeah.
God, man. I'd be like...
Some feedback from last week, Kev. Jason Knapp has said, as a disabled infantryman who fought in Iraq and Afghanistan and whose wife works at the VA, thanks for expressing your support. You may not know it, but those few words mean a whole lot to me, especially, but I'm sure to other veterans as well.
Shit, man.
You're a veteran as well, so.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for your service, but fuck, man, that's... You raise your hand and say you're going to give your life to defend the Constitution. And then they're throwing the Constitution around like it's nothing. It's just, I know, it's hard to stomach, but...
Will we see veterans organizations mobilize and come out against cutting the VA?
I watched some first responders from 9/11 that got together the other day.
Saw that.
They cut back. They're cutting back their, and they're just like... It was strong, because the guy that was speaking was just like, so and so. He says, if we're not at a funeral, we're in a hospital bed. He says, we're fucking dying, man.
We're dying. Yeah. Yeah.
And Jon Stewart he did such a great job for them and championed for them.
Oh, his trips to Congress and everything.
Yeah, to push. It wasn't like the Dems, caved. I mean, it took pressure to get anything done. It takes pressure to get anything through Congress in the United States, because it really doesn't benefit them. It benefits if it benefits the everyday man, it's like, yeah, fuck that. We can pass that. I was so worried that the Democrats were going to make some kind of a stand and not kick the can, down the road until September with the budget. Because all that does is kill the little person. It kills the people that live on Social Security. It kills our soldiers that are getting paid, like all that shit. It's just like, it hurts the people that are already hurting. Somebody put a comment out, and I read it in our comments, and the guy said, the person said, "Where you been, man? We've been in a recession for 2 years." And I'm like, no. There's a big difference between being in a recession and fucking having companies price gouge the dog shit out of you since COVID and not having restrictions.
But they also treat inflation and recession as the same thing too.
Well, inflation numbers were good today.
It's not. They're talking historically over 2 years.
Yeah, but the inflation numbers for February were decent.
Well, that's why the market wasn't in the toilet like it had been passed.
Yeah,
that little bit of rebounded.
The S&P rebounded like 221 today or something like that.
But I think Dow was still down, right? Dow was down.
Yeah, 40-ish.
Nasdaq was up. Nasdaq was up, right?
Yeah, maybe. So it was kind of a flatline day.
Bluegrass bourbon bologna. Just a note. Kev is dead wrong about Peaky Blinders. It is fantastic. One of the best series I've seen. You have to give it almost half of the first season till it really grabs you and gets going.
So in other words, if it was a blowjob, you got to give her 4 hours. Jesus, dude.
Till you whittled down to a pencil.
Half of the season. You got to give him half of the season.
Ignore her buck teeth
right
as long as you can.
Right at the hour and 43-minute point of the movie, it fucking gets good.
But enough about Honora.
Yeah. How am I dead wrong, dude?
He's a Peaky Blinders fan. It just takes a while to get going.
Yeah.
Let's see. Brandon Byrne. Best thing about the NWO was Kevin and Scott looked like they had nothing but fun all the time. Scott smiled so much during that time.
Well, it wasn't like it was a put on.
Right.
God, you're talking about just a blessed period of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Just going out on national TV and just half the time saying something on a microphone that 3 people got at home that they laughed and nobody else would,
Yeah.
I was out there with 2 of my best friends every night.
Right. But it delivered. I mean, it was the high point of the night, right? When that music would hit, the black and white would come on.
Especially when it was Wolfpack, though. When it was like we'd do like a 6-man with Pac and Scott and me, and or we'd do Freebird rules where we'd wrestle somebody else, and the 3 of us wrestle 2 guys.
Right. I could talk NWO all night, but it was such an interesting time because it tapped into something that saved the business across the street from WWE. They were heading into their Attitude Era, and then this thing that started to feel like a movie almost,
but they weren't heading
into Tarantino.
They weren't heading into their Attitude Era.
What, with Steve and
they weren't heading into their Attitude Era. That Attitude Era was 97. 96, shit didn't change there.
Well, okay, so they would soon be heading into their Attitude Era.
Yeah. After they watched half a season of Peaky Blinders.
Right. Otherwise known as ECW. But what you guys did, though, you took wrestling and I don't know, a bad guy buddy film, a Tarantino film, Reservoir Dogs. You took Reservoir Dogs and wrestling and merged it. And the cool factor came back because that's at my age, college age, especially as a film student, that's what was cool. That's what we were going to see. That's what we wanted to talk like. And for wrestling, which is always behind the curve. I mean, historically, whatever's happened in pop culture, give it 5-10 years, you may see it in wrestling. Now it was the same time. That was happening at the same time. So did you get it when it was proposed, or was this more the happy accident where you guys were like, okay, let's ride this?
I got it, but it was still pitched as a wrestling angle. And then when Hulk decided to, like, the fact that the response that we got every Nitro, when we would just show up in the crowd someplace and they hit a spotlight on us, and then that was all we would do. We'd just do that. And the place would go crazy, and then we'd show up someplace else. Then we did the lawn dart with Ray, and we slowly built the things up. And then when Hulk turned, it was like, and a lot of people said, I said that I just thought that the Hogan thing was stronger than the Cena turn. And somebody said, well, that was, and I say, no, I said, the Hogan thing happened that night, and that was organic. Like, that just happened. There hadn't been anything like that, in years and years and years and years. And I said, I'm not saying that the Cena thing wasn't, people were saying, yeah, but people talked about it for, are still talking about it a week later. Well, yeah, because they've got 39 billion fucking, it's like it's a different world.
Yeah.
You know, unless you were paying 99 cents a minute, you weren't getting the skinny from Gene. But the thing about the Cena situation is, I read something today on a comment somewhere, was that the Cena run has an expiration date. And that changes everything.
This year, yeah.
That changes everything.
No, that's a good point.
But they said, the one person said, I wish I would have read what the person's name was, because I thought, like, here's a person that actually gets it. They said, wouldn't it be Shakespearean if Cena rode off as a heel, and basically the story was that he's been that his whole time, and you dumb fucks bought it for 20 years that he was a good guy.
Mm.
And I
Right.
thought,
We were being worked.
and I said, that there's a hell of a way to go. I mean, you're never going to take away from his legacy. You're never going to take away from the fact that he's done more Make-A-Wishes than probably, the entire rest of the athletes on the planet.
But Kev, do you owe it to Cena, you being Paul, I guess, do you owe it to Cena to send him off as a baby?
If he wants it. I think when John comes back, if I'm in charge and John comes to me and he says, Kev, he goes, I want to do a retirement thing. I don't know if it was pitched. If Paul said, hey, what do you think about a heel turn before you go out the back door? And John says, yeah, but as long as we rectify it. Because when it comes down to it, it can always be a situation where it's that last night, and something's going down, and it's the old Popeye. It's all he can stand because I can't stand no more. And he, comes back to his senses, but you've got to, people are a lot smarter than they used to be when it comes to wrestling. Like they're gonna want this. They're gonna want this tied up in a bow.
Mm.
They're gonna go if you turn them and it's been effective. Like I text Cody Rhodes after Monday night, because I thought he did a brilliant fucking job of going down, cutting a promo with them knowing that Cena wasn't in the building, because he makes reference to it.
He said it, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to see him in Brussels. And then they started the Cena chant.
Yeah.
Let's go Cena, Cena sucks. Let's go. And it got loud. And Cody no-sold it. He said, hey, we're live on Netflix. He basically just gave them the rudder of the ship, and they fucking immediately they booed. He turned the crowd back 100%. Him babyface, Cena heel. And to me, like, that's a skill that a lot of guys, man, very few have. Very few people can, and he's been over for, when he started the AEW thing, and he was kind of like to me, he's like the Steve Jobs of this fucking movement. Like, he started all this. The AEW movement was Cody.
Yeah.
He started this new push.
With the guns and, the guys.
Yeah, but it was
there,
Cody. It was Cody and Dustin. It was that match. It was moving forward, but it was Cody. He was the guy that smashed Paul's throne. He was the guy that took all that, and then he came back home. because he was a WWE guy. And I don't know. I just think that it's nice to see him get his rewards. I wasn't crazy. I know I got heat. He probably was pissed at me after I said that was a SummerSlam or whatever it was when I critiqued the whole the whole thing. But that's just sometimes I'm an abrasive old fuck, and
Well, but you're honest. You're not going to suck his dick. I mean,
No.
at least when you put someone over, then they know it's coming from a real place
yeah, and
because you
that's
can
what,
criticize as well.
and that's why I wanted to make sure I went on the air tonight and said, "Fuck, man, like way to go, like way to be a fucking star, way to be a cut above, way to be fucking cream of the crop."
Today's product, Kevin, think of what we're watching now as we get up to WrestleMania, as we lead up to WrestleMania. Could the NWO work today? Could something get so over a faction? I mean, it was a faction, but it was a federation-defining faction.
Have Randy Orton join Cena and Rock.
And could you have it? Could you send guys out in T-shirts and jeans every week? And could it have that effect?
Yeah. But it's already been, I mean, it would be a copycat now, but I mean, if you package, I don't think Travis Scott's the right guy to be out there as the third.
No, but where I'm coming from, Kevin, is that wrestling fans are so quote unquote smart to the business now, and maybe jaded, and would they just default to being critical of? People just love to hate shit on the internet. Would they just default to hating it?
You have to realize, like, what if you would have to have somebody come back. Like if you could get Austin or Taker, if they just had if they had a year left in them, where you could get that one, that, you know what I mean? Because then it's like it's a different era. It's none of the new guys.
Yeah.
But
right.
We've all timed out.
Yeah, but I just meant, could you have like cool badasses again who come out in blue jeans? Britt agrees with you. Yeah, I think Randy would be amazing.
Yeah, I think Randy looks amazing right now.
Mm-hmm. Steve wore the cut off blue jean shorts. I think blue jeans is the secret to getting over as a faction. And if they're wearing the perfect jean,
they weren't cut off.
They were three quarter.
They were like Cena.
The skater jams. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the perfect jean would be the company to go to for that, Kev. I love my 2 pairs of perfect jeans. I'm just going to free ball right here. I love the stretch to it. Just enough, by the way. That's a real jean. I mean, you're not wearing like those fake jeans that are tights that the chicks wear. What are we calling those? The legging type things. No, these are jeans, man. These are blue jeans. They have a little bit of stretch so that they're comfortable, so that we can move around and they're tight where they're supposed to be, like from kind of in the knee area down. They get a little more snug, but they have like 6 fits though, so you can go for whatever style. If you like to bag your look, you can do that. I like my jeans a little tighter. Size ranges from 26 to 50-inch waists, lengths up to 38. There's 5,000 ways you can find your perfect match by going to the website and going through everything they have. They're really redefining what a blue jean is, all right? No more crushed nuts and saggy diaper butt, no plumber's crack at the back. They have nice size waist and some flexibility on the waist too. So whether you're a thick dude, a skinny dude, tall, short, no matter what you are, the perfect jean, they've got you covered, right? And I'm talking 400,000 old, young, big, and small men agree. And the pricing now on jeans is madness. The stylish, well-fitting jeans. I mean, you could pay $200, $250. I have a pair of $250 jeans. But where you're getting a perfect jean, the value at under $100, talking $79.95, right? It's a steal. Colors, styles, shapes, sizes. Guys, go there and get yourself fit. For a limited time, our listeners are getting 15% off your first order plus free shipping. So you're going to go to theperfectgene.nyc. All right, that's theperfectgene.nyc. Use that code KLIQ15, KLIQ 15, to get your 15% off. Okay, that's 15% off for new customers at theperfectgene.nyc. With promo code KLIQ15. After you purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. Please support the show. Tell them we sent you. And also tell them, fuck khakis. I want the perfect jean. Thank you, Perfect Jean. I love your products. Absolutely. It's time to order more, actually. It's time for me to get... I want a black... You know what I want? I want a black jean, but with that, like, fabric type feel, not like the denim where some of the white shows through. I just want a solid black. Got to go on there later, see if they have it. I'm sure they do.
Just don't eat mustard.
Or just charge the Federation, get some blood dumped on it, and send the bill to Eric. Dot 8131977 was watching and listening last week and said, Sean, you are the reason I keep watching the news. I keep waiting to hear some of these headlines on like Fox 5's New York news broadcast. They may be doing referring to the Jersey guy, Florida man. All right. Dot, keep listening. Real Right Hill says, every time I watch this show, I just look at both and cannot believe that two of the most beautiful men in this world are doing a podcast. Consistently, weekly.
Must be that beef.
It's the beef tallow, right?
Tallow.
Real Right Hill. Nice gentleman giving us a compliment. It's the beef tallow.
Thank you.
We agree. And keep the compliments coming, please, to offset some of what we read sometimes. Mr. Green 2341, Kev, here's one for you. Too bad Paul triple threat match Levesque doesn't have the same opinion of multi-man matches that his buddy Kev has. Sure are a lot of them in this era, unfortunately, and it's looking like we'll get at least a few at Mania. And he lists his predictions. Punk, Rollins, Roman.
Yes.
Rhea, Bianca, Io.
Yes.
Probably all the SmackDown tag teams together in a clusterfuck match. Probably some triple threat match for Breaker's IC title, maybe Sheamus and Balor. Hell, we'll probably get Fatu versus Solo versus Strowman, too, with the way things are going. We talked last week about the difficulties of the triple threat.
They've got 2 nights and they've got a lot of match time, so they can. But there will be some. It just looks better on a marquee. You know, it looks better on a marquee if it's a 3-way. I just from a worker's standpoint and from match quality, it's very, very difficult not to have what we had in the Elimination Chamber.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember talking with Todd when we were doing Todd is God, and when they, I guess, pioneered the 3-way dance, and they had to decide what we can do with this third person. They had to figure out how a headlock was going to work, how an arm lock was going to work, and just when the concept came, how to make it viable and believable and still entertaining, and not just have one guy knocked to the floor for 4 minutes in a rotation in the ring.
One of the early thoughts they had, I talked to Todd, he was thinking that maybe they would bring a TV monitor out and have the third person watch Peaky Blinders while the other two did some high spots.
With a plaid derby on?
Yeah, and then and that way there they could wait. I mean, you could be on the apron for half the season. and then come in and make the hot tag.
But you just got to sit through
Yeah,
the first half of the season
it's half a
for
season.
the hot tag.
It's just how, I mean, because if there's one thing everybody has in this world, it's just a shitload of time.
God.
I looked at Tammy today, and it was 4 o'clock, and I said, how do I not do anything all day and like it be 4 o'clock? And she said, no, she said, you actually were, she said, I saw you researching and writing down on your legal pad. I said, yeah, I guess I was so crabby last week. I said, I don't want to be crabby this week.
Kev, I've never worked in the ring. But last week, I came in a little hobbled, let's say, right? I maybe had a little bit of a twisted ankle from working the night before. I had that flat tire on my new car, and then I went for a emergency root canal at 4 o'clock. And I said to the dentist, I was like, I am recovered, Jen, thank you. But it's like 3 or 4 visits, so I'm not done. The first week is done. I'm going back at the end of the month. I'll probably be hobbled for that show, too. So I go into the ring, and I look across at my opponent, who, we called in the ring for the most part. We talked a little bit maybe the day before. I couldn't talk before because I had the tooth. So, So we had talked the day before.
No, we went completely cold last week.
And I locked up with you, and I felt fucking Ted Arcidi across from me, the world's strongest man. And I'm like,
what you heard was easy, brother. We already got their money.
Holy shit! You weren't going up for the body slam. I was not a condition to take many moves either. It was a rough dance, but
like I said, Tam and I, you never know what day, what is going to set you off. And man, it was just one of those. We had like a couple of days in a row where just, we've just both missed our son, and it's just,
I get it. Do I ever complain to you?
No. I mean, I'm not going to apologize to the people.
It's my job.
I'm not going to apologize to the people that have to. I mean, it's not like I'm getting rich sitting down here, So.
Well,
though if you watch the show and see if you watch the show on YouTube and you see the 19,000 motherfucking commercials that we don't get dick for.
We get about dick. We get
it's I want everybody out there to know that we
Listen, it's you can't universally blanket the money thing because there's differences. I think for some people, I got a kid in college and a kid in private school, so there's no complaints. It's fine. It certainly helps. Certainly helps. You need everything you can get in this world, and when you live in the Northeast, for God's sakes.
Fuck this car insurance.
My car insurance. Holy fuck! Bend over. We're talking WWE, so I might as well say that I thought Raw was a decent show this week.
I enjoyed it.
You know what I enjoyed, Kev, about watching the New York crowd a little bit? Did you see the NWO belts being held up? 2025. Yeah. We're in 2025. And the Northeast loves their NWO, dude.
It's always nice. It's nice to see the T-shirts. I was talking to a guy my financial guy was talking to one of the financial guys that had to give the okay for my trade, and he was like, "Oh, this guy trading is." It's like Kevin Nash, the wrestler, and my guy says, "No, it's him. It is Kevin Nash." He goes, "You're fucking kidding me." He goes, "Tell him I still wear my NWO shirt." I said, "Sweet."
Yeah, I saw somebody.
The beauty about those NWO shirts is that after like 7 washes, they turn gray, so you got to get a new one.
There wasn't a. Let's see there. Okay, here's a crowd shot. Yeah, there's one. This is from this broadcast. I guess it's the Yeet era. So yeah, I guess
There's
that
an
was this week.
NWO up there.
Yeah, there was a belt across from the hard cam for a lot of the show with the red spray
Yeah.
paint on it. That
So
I was
you can
watching.
yeet and wear an NWO shirt, which that's just.
It shouldn't be the same fucking shot, I don't think. Anywhere.
At this point, if I'm Jay, I'm expecting to get choked out by Gunther at the end of my segment.
Oh yeah, we're going to the well a little bit there with trying to keep it.
I was actually kind of impressed with the Australian kid that worked with Jay.
Mm-hmm.
What was his name? Waller?
In the opening, Waller in the opener.
Waller? Is that his name? Waller?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean the match was fine.
It was there? No, it was. He did some pretty cool shit. I mean, he did some athletic shit.
But I think AJ's shit is so legit, man. Like,
oh, he's so good.
He's so fucking good. And you could tell, even the novice like me, I've just been covering the sport. I've never taken a bump. But you could tell he's not fucking hurting anyone.
No.
But his shit looks completely legit.
No.
From the punches to, I mean, he's just
a
pleasure to watch. I love when someone can get in there and make me believe it. I know he's not fucking anybody up.
I thought I had a stroke during this segment.
Why?
Just a mini stroke. Did anybody else watch the show and notice when Logan Paul was cutting his promo that it just sounded like static, fed-in white noise?
The constant crowd, right? Like
Yeah.
the buzz crowd.
And he just spoke over it like it was fed by the truck. Like he didn't hear it.
No, so what is with that? Because if
I
you
don't
watch
know.
if you watch Cody's promo,
It's
the crowd's like hanging on to him. It stops. He waits. He mentions something. A pop. Then it drops again when he talks again. And even the matches. I don't know if it's just a New York crowd. They're waiting to be impressed. They're not going to just give you fucking cheap applause.
But when Logan Paul was out there, it sounded like a blender.
It was like I thought it was a muffled chant at first that was trying to get going.
When I watched it back and I looked at the crowd, and the crowd wasn't making the crowd's reaction was not
matching the sound.
No.
So Britt points out Logan has legit go away heat, not heel heat.
Yes, we used to always turn the channel heat.
Right.
He
Not
keeps doing that thing where he looks like he's got the fucking dentures in. He's doing this. I don't know.
So what do you so you think it was the truck trying to add some sweetener because there wasn't anything going on? Any fans, if you took some phone footage from the crowd, tag us on the socials so that we can hear the crowd during the segment. It's only one way to find out, right?
It just seemed weird.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. And I don't think I noticed it, Kevin, until Cody's promo.
Right.
And then the house just sounded natural. Felt like I was there with the swelling of everything.
God, what a great the garden's just, I mean, that used to be I remember they said at the beginning of the show there was the 15th time Raw had been at the Garden. And I thought, that's it? And I'm thinking, yeah, because all those years, man, we didn't do that was such an important house show.
Yes.
Like that made your,
I mean, you sold it out. You didn't need to put TV there to sell it out. You'd sell it as a house show. You just can't get the coffee there. I saw one taping at the Garden. Not a taping, a Raw. Oh, you know what it was? I remember this now. Remember Paul was out for a long time with the knee?
Quad?
Was it the knee? Yeah, no, that was the quad. The night he came back.
Yeah.
I went to that.
Quadruple H?
Is that what they were calling him?
Yeah.
It's fucked.
He was as big as a house, man.
Kev, you know what I especially loved and I focused on? This is obviously not the first cage match I watched in this era, but we always talk about WWE production, and I pay a lot of attention to it. The coverage of cage matches now
Oh,
is so great with their angles and where they position. Used to be, when it was Morocco and Snuka in the cage, every fucking shot was through the mesh and the lighting would reflect off the mesh, so you had a weird effect going on. So you got excited for the cage matches, but the coverage was always shitty with the cameras. Now, it's fucking phenomenal.
well, that's the whole thing with everything. See, that's why it's like I don't know if the truck sweetened the Paul sound up, or if it just they mixed it. Like, so when the show started, I watched the first match, and somebody went through the fucking post somewhere, and they did the shoulder post spot, and they hit the round fucking post, not the squared red raw thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, "What the fuck, man?" I said, "You can't tell me that fucking the Teamsters are charging 20 grand to put the raw things on." So they said, fuck them. And then I sat there and I watched when Seth was walking to the ring, and did you notice like that the cage fit, like if you would have had the square post, it wouldn't fit. It fits right on the top of those, and there's like a fucking like a buffer that the cage goes down and it sits like it's just the whole thing just perfectly fits together.
The science of it all,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then another thing I thought that was really creative was when they did the superplex off the top of the cage.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
That it was actually, by the time they did it, it was just off the top rope. But the illusion was that they did it from a much higher, because they brought it into the cage, and then they
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that's to me, I love that. Like, what are you guys doing? Okay, you gave the optical illusion that it was much higher than it was. It was probably maybe 2 feet higher than if you just didn't have a cage and went off the top turnbuckle.
Yep.
Still a superplex.
No, it's tremendous. So I just love the emphasis on production. It's
amazing.
they really it's a TV show.
It's been such a difference. And on top of that, man, it's just like I will go back and watch it during the week before the show because it's right there on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not bogging down my DVR where Tamara's like, "Are you gonna get rid of this shit?" Like, it's right there, and so when I'm watching, I'll put a little note, like I'll put notes for the time cues, so when I go back, I can just go to where I want to go on the time cue, so I can miss. I still don't have commercials. So,
I would love to know if we could find out somehow. I don't know if anyone out there listening has. I don't know if anyone works in Connecticut that listens to us. Maybe, I don't know. How many cameras are in
19.
a Raw? You know the number.
It used to be 19. I mean, there was 19 different camera shots that the truck had to call from.
Yeah.
And that was shit. That was 8 years ago.
That's a harrowing job calling those. Yes, Don, the drone in the ring for the cage. That's what I'm talking about, man. When they were over the fucking cage, it was tremendous. That's a harrowing job calling. There's a display at the Museum of the Moving Image in New York, which is the film and television production museum, where I spoke last year with Todd on a special night. But anyway, in the museum, they have you go and you stand in a control room, and it's a baseball game or a Yankees game or something, and it's the whole panel, all the shots, and it's just a few minutes of the game, and you can hear the director in your ear, and you're watching just the constant action, getting something on standby while something goes live, and it's unpredictable what happens in a baseball game. So in a second, you got to decide what camera. I'd flub the number of the camera, just, ground ball down the third base line. You got to know which cameras are best positioned and what the numbers are. And just the activity. I don't know how these guys don't have nervous breakdowns while they're calling a baseball game like that.
I mean, it's probably just a shorter version of what to me, being an air traffic controller has got to be the fucking worst. You can miss a shot in fucking wrestling.
I was going to say it counts. It counts in the way that the ground ball doesn't.
Yeah.
Different ground ball.
I was talking to somebody about that whole American Airlines Blackhawk situation. And the guy, he's a guy from the gym, and he says to me, he goes, I just didn't think that a Blackhawk would take a jet down. And I said, for the sake of argument, what if the fucking jet hit the Blackhawk dead in its side and the impact was the cockpit? I said, pretty much you're going to kill both your pilots and knock out all the fucking, like, everything that keeps the plane up.
Any change in force that affects the delicate dance that's happening between the airstream and planes have crashed after takeoff because of the tailwind from the previous plane being unpredictable and knocking the thing on its side. Of course, a fucking helicopter would do it. Who is this person?
Did
they watch Peaky Blinders ever?
Just the second part of the season. Somebody smartened them up. They came in at 6. Right.
I don't want to get off Raw yet. I want to ask you about the cage match and the finish. First of all, where the hell did Roman come from? Because the crowd had about 3 seconds of a pop before I saw him.
Yeah, that was clever.
He couldn't have done the ramp.
No, he came in from the side. The Garden is. I know the Garden pretty well. I don't know exactly where the ring was set up, but.
So maybe like what used to be the entrance before the days of the ramp and stuff, when you guys would just come out, and it was kind of a short walk.
I don't
to the
know
ring.
Because I think they can set Gorilla up anywhere. So
yeah, under where the hard cam is, maybe, like because there is that exit. I think it's a fan exit, but they could use that.
That to me would be the place to have it where the hard cam is, because you're taking those seats. So you can,
that's true, right?
You can get him to there.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get him to there because you got three hard cameras sitting right there.
So it was a good finish, a good way to save Punk, right?
Yeah.
And still keep it all fresh.
I'm still trying to figure out how Paul Heyman just miraculously showed up in the middle of the fucking ring.
The drone dropped him from above.
I'm just like, Roman's got him. I'm like, oh, sweet. He's gonna curb stomp. And all of a sudden, I turn around and fucking Paul Heyman's doing the Betsy Ross with Punk in the ring. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it was a hatch.
But I saw Roman sell the fucking Punk thing. So obviously, I think Heyman's going to have some splaining to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it keeps it interesting. I thought it was a great finish, a great way to pull it all together.
To tie everything in, episodic television.
Yeah,
and that's what the first 4 episodes of Peaky Blinders didn't do. Did not drag me along.
I'm gonna have to watch this now. We've ragged on this so much. I'm gonna have to give it a shot. You know what I'm gonna do first, though?
You know what? I fell asleep in Oppenheimer, so I'm that guy. I think it's the actor.
Oh, I started Nosferatu On the
Oh,
weekend, my daughter came home from college. The dog was the only one awake 15 minutes in. It was, and I can argue with Wes about the quality of the black and white another time. But if I try Peaky Blinders, Kev, I promise I'll have a little Delta 9 THC sip and syrup first, just to kind of make the ride maybe a little more enjoyable. Or longer,
that would do it.
maybe. I don't know.
That would, yeah. No, I think you can't go wrong.
Um,
Everything's better with a little sip and syrup.
with a little sip and syrup. Talk to my buddy Mickey Ray. He's sending me texts pretty consistently of the folks at the lab. They've nearly perfected the you know what happened, Kev? I guess I don't know. Talk about it on the air. Mickey, tell me if it's a mistake, but they they have to rigidly test all this stuff, obviously, because there's legal limits to stuff, and
Right.
maybe in this most recent batch, it was a little strong by a fraction, so they got to test again until that level is the proper milligram dosage. So they've done that, and they're ready to roll.
Well, don't throw it out.
Don't waste all that, Mickey.
Yeah,
You got a place
easy.
to bring it.
Yeah.
So if I'm talking about Get Blitzed, if I'm talking about the product, we could be talking about the THC sip and syrup, which is what you're looking at right there. It's a syrup. You just take a teaspoonful. It's super potent, so that's all you need is the teaspoon or less, and just mix it in the beverage of your choice. And a fast onset, 5 to 15 minutes. Nano-infused means it goes right to your bloodstream, bypassing the breakdown in the liver. So it just kind of works like alcohol, and it's a very relaxed buzz. If you're in Maryland, you can visit a Stay Lit smoke shop. For the rest of us, it's legal to ship from the Get Blitzed website to almost all 50 states without a med card, as long as you're over 21. And they have other products, too. They got that candy, rope, all that stuff. Go check it out, because you're going to go to get-blitzed.com and look at all their offerings. And very soon, you'll be able to get the Kliq This version of the THC Lit Aid pre-mixed for you, either in Kev's key lime flavor or Sean's blue raz. And you're going to be able to get a little sneak peek of it right now. If you go there and if you order 2 bottles or more of the THC sip and syrup, you can choose one of these limited edition Kliq This cans. Just let them know in the comments if you want Sean's Blue Raz or Kev's Key Lime. For orders over $200, or $200, you're going to get 2 cans, one of each flavor. Please go there, get-blitzed.com, and get your 15% off first, for God's sakes, by entering the code KLIQ Kliq, and then get some of our seltzer. Thank you, Get Blitzed. Always down to get blitzed with Mickey
Absolutely.
Ray. Kev, dear sexy, I have 2 letters here.
Hold on. I just want to say this.
Please.
I think tonight's the night, so give a prayer to the astronauts that have been stuck in the space station for 6 years. I think tonight they had a small window to get up there at NASA and get them.
I think something was canceled. I accidentally...
Was it canceled? Oh.
I got a text from somebody in the ad department who sent it to the wrong Sean. And they said... they sent the launch schedule, and I texted her back. I said, thanks. Are you suggesting a trip for me? Why am I getting this? And she said, wrong Sean. But if you're wanting to go, they canceled today, so you may have a chance to hitch a ride on the next one. So if that's the one she's making reference to, it was canceled.
Yeah, they had a very, very small window tonight.
Even smaller now, since it's not happening.
Well, yeah, there's none.
Correct.
They'll try again tomorrow
Can't
night.
get smaller than that. Kev, dear sexy, 2 actual letters from the Dear Abby files. But what if Kevin Nash was the one to offer advice to the lovelorn, troubled, and otherwise? It would sound like this. Dear sexy, I'm a gay man living in a predominantly straight community. About a year ago, a married couple moved in. One day, the husband asked me to come over and help him put a table together, which I did. He thanked me by opening a bottle of wine. He then asked me what turns me on. I thought the question was unusual, but I didn't hold back. I showed him. We've had more encounters since then, and now I'm feeling used and thinking about telling his wife. I think she deserves to know her husband might be gay and sleeping with other men. He used some gay lingo that makes me feel like I might not be the only one. I heard there were some other neighbors talking badly about gays, and he didn't defend or take up for us, and that upsets me too. What do I do? They're a few doors down, and it's uncomfortable when I see him with his wife. She's always waving and is a sweet lady. That's from Rethinking in Florida.
Why don't you tell the dude that he needs to tell his wife instead of you telling the wife? Why would, I mean, that's how you get shot.
Right, backdooring it, no pun intended, and just going to the
Yeah,
wife.
but why would you not tell the dude, like, hey man, dude, this is fucked up what you do to her?
But this guy was complicit in going along with the affair. Why suddenly is there a problem? It takes two to tango,
Well,
and he knew the deal. The dude is married.
Obviously, I mean, if he's saying that he thinks the guy has other gay lovers, then he's obviously maybe probably gotten not as much. Like, he's no longer
He's
got
jilted.
the new car. He's no longer got the new car smell.
Right. David Van Bogelen's with you too.
I think you got to go to
just
the
man
dude.
up and tell him, dude. Go fucking
Yeah.
tell your wife.
Like if you don't, I will. You might be able to do that, but that's going to get you shot.
It is Florida, right? That's why we're
Stand your ground.
Right. Second letter, Dear Sexy, I find myself increasingly less patient with my oldest brother and older sister. They lie incessantly about things they've accomplished, always making themselves out to be the best. It frustrates me to hear them say things that are not true. For example, while dining in a restaurant, my brother told a group of guys that he was a Top Gun instructor. In reality, he retired in the Air Force, not the Navy. My sister claims she paid 100% of her college expenses, even though my parents actually paid 2 or 3 years of her tuition, room, and board. My husband says I should let it go because I only see him a few times a year. I don't want to spend time with them because of their ridiculous stories. What's the best response? When they say things that are simply not true. That's from Cringing in Colorado.
I mean,
why is it important?
Well, it's your brother and sister. I mean, so he tells some guys he's in Top Gun, and he's saying that in front of you, knowing that you know opposite.
Yes.
So it's like, obviously he doesn't give a fuck.
Right.
You know. I would probably, if it's that big of a deal, I would probably spend, since you spend zero time together, spend even less.
Right. But when you're seated there, would you go, dude, what are you talking about? Or you just let it ride?
I would add on to it. Do you remember that time you almost crashed and you had to eject? Remember they were going to throw you out of the whole program because you couldn't fly worth a shit and they had to eject and you crashed that F6. Remember all that?
Remember the dishonorable discharge because of that? Yeah.
Remember when mom and dad found out that you paid for all your college by hooking? There's always ways around all that shit.
It was revealed you weren't actually 11 soft. The only way around that is, Kev, to take some Blue Chew.
Oof.
To ensure, at least if you're going to tell tall tales, you can retain a little bit of truth. Our friends at Blue Chew are...
If not, put in a good enough performance for nobody gives a shit.
No, exactly. Have better sex with Blue Chew. That's what it's all about. They are the original brand offering chewable tablets for the aforementioned better sex. And starting now, Blue Chew's offering a combo so strong, Kevin, it's going to knock your socks off and maybe knock your neighbor's socks off too, if she's over. You'll have to move towns with the amount of noises that are going to be coming out of your house. Blue Chew Max, ladies and gentlemen, has arrived, and it combines the active ingredients of Viagra and Cialis into one chewable. The combination acts fast and lasts. Guys, be ready when she needs it, okay? Get your first month of Blue Chew free. It's just a few clicks away. Let me tell you about the process. This is why Blue Chew owns the market, okay? It's all done online. It's all done online. Your consultation with a licensed medical provider, all virtual. Once you're approved, you get the prescription within days. It's in your mailbox, okay? No visits to the doctors, no awkward conversations, okay? They're not going to stop until every man is bricked up, all right? That's their mission. More horsepower. Maybe get yourself up to 577, biatch. I'm going to floor this thing. I'm going to take video for you. I'm going to floor it and see if I hit.
Be careful, man. That's a lot of horsepower.
Guys, make life easier by getting harder. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. We've got that special deal for our listeners. Try your first month free and use the promo code NASH, N-A-S-H. Just pay $5 for shipping. That's promo code NASH. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for being with us from day frickin' one.
I would personally say the Cialis concoction is the better of the two.
Okay, yeah, you get to make that choice, guys, when they give you the whole lineup on the website, and you just click the one you want. Thank you, Blue Chew. All right, guys, back with Kliq This, the Kevin Nash podcast, and something we've talked about before here. Things that go bump in the night might actually be dangerous, guys. So our friends at STOPBOX have produced some products very proudly made in the USA in their own facility. To help keep you safe, your firearms safe, and give you that feeling of security in your home. They offer a range of innovative products, including their vehicle-safe chamber lock. All right, you got to check the website to see all this. What are we talking about? We're talking about keeping your weapon safe and not having to fumble around with keys if you need to get into this in a hurry. It's got to be easy, but it's got to be safe and secure. And that's the genius of STOPBOX. Okay, it's not relying on a battery that could die, for God's sakes, and by the time you key in a code and get into it. Talk about durable. I mean, this thing here, I have one right here, so it is easily accessible but secure, and I'm going to show you the magic of the STOPBOX right now. It's this finger combination right here. There's no numbers to have to see. There's no keyhole that you have to fumble for if you need to get in quickly. It's all done by positioning your fingers. You could do it blindly. I'm going to do it blindly right now. I'm not even going to look. I'm just going to put my fingers in the position, hit my trigger here, and it opens immediately. This is for if it's dark at night, and you just want to get in, brother. It's that easy. One more time. You see my hand here, for God's sakes. I put my finger in my pre-designated position. By the way, you can set the combination finger positions of the STOPBOX. So it's right next to its bedside or wherever. It's dark and I'm in. That's how fast it is. And it's secure. Okay. This is the magic. Traveling with peace of mind is easy because STOPBOX Pro is TSA compliant. For God's sakes, I'm going to say that again. All right. Traveling with peace of mind is easy because STOPBOX Pro is TSA compliant. You can securely and conveniently transport your firearm through checked baggage for airline travel. Guys, for a limited time, our listeners are going to get a crazy deal. Not only do you get 10% off your entire order when you use the code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q, at STOPBOXUSA.com, but they're also giving you a buy one, get one free for their STOPBOX Pro. That's 10% off and a free STOPBOX Pro when you use the code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q, at STOPBOXUSA.com. Discover a better way to balance security and readiness with STOPBOX. And that's the magic formula right there. Thank you, STOPBOX, for keeping firearms safe in this country. But in those kooky situations where you need to get it, be able to get it quickly. So thank you.
But keeping us safe at the same time.
Precisely.
Giving us the option of having a firearm if you've got children.
Hashtag Ask Nash. That's how you get questions to Kevin Nash. You could either do that or just come here, join us at KliqThisTV.com, become part of the 11 Soft Club, and sit in on the tapings and ask some questions. You'll see them later. But some folks have tagged us with hashtag Ask Nash, like Larry Benson, who said, is there truth to the rumors that Yoko was supposed to come into WCW and side with Scott Hall, but the Nevada Athletic Commission banned him?
Yes.
And I've never heard this. Banned him, obviously, because of the conditioning?
Yeah, I could pass the blood pressure gimmick.
Gotcha. Stephen Breach. Haven't done WrestleCon in years. Nash is my number one guy I want to meet this year. I'm bringing the NWO Wolfpack title to get signed. When we show up, does Nash have the right pen or marker to sign a belt, or should we come prepared? I like that he wants to get that squared away, Kev, so that...
That's... I will have... for belts, I like to use a white pink pen, but I'll also have a gold, silver, and a red in case you've had other people sign it in those. So I'll have those paint pens. And then I also have a kind of, I guess the color would be chartreuse because I sign a lot of shredder stuff. And the chartreuse paint pen seems to pop on those.
Okay.
I haven't signed it forever, man.
Yeah.
Like at a convention. I've actually got one, is it next? Is the 21st like next Friday?
Well, today's the 12th, and we're taping on a Wednesday. I mean Monday, for everyone listening.
Right.
What date did you say? 21st?
Is it
Now, a week from this Friday, so yeah.
Yeah, so I'll be in Cincinnati for, I think it's like Horror Hound or something like that.
Whore or horror?
Horror, like horror movies.
Oh, I thought it was WHOR. I was like, what the hell's going on there?
Yeah.
All right, so go out and see Kev.
I didn't want to go out and do a signing until I put my weight back, like put some size back on. So finally, this T-shirt's actually like, it's tight. It's like, oh God, finally. 14 weeks later.
Feeling like Nash again. Feeling like Big Sexy.
Not quite all the way, but, let's see. How's the stem cell?
A question from Edgar Watson of the 11 Soft Club in the audience for the live taping. How are the stem cells going? Are you still feeling the euphoric effects?
Yeah, I'm going to feel it for a long time. It's like I'm really 2 months in from starting to get I did lateral raises the other day, and like before I had the stem cells done, it would have just, even 5 pounds would have just popped and clicked the whole time. And I did, only did 8 pound laterals, but I mean, I'm still only 14 weeks off. I have my super spinatus hooked back on, but I did, just 3 sets of 12, and I mean, I was sore the next day, but they felt great.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Another one from the house. Let's see. Who's joining us today? Britt. Should Roman or Jay main event night 1 at Mania? I would feel bad for Jay being overlooked again for his cousin who only shows up 4 times a year. Jay is so over, but Roman is the man.
Roman's not going to be in a title match, so he won't main event.
Good point. Let me see. I got another hashtag.
The main events, if they do anything, they're probably. Do they usually do one female and one male one night and switch to the other night?
Well, I mean, they could do whatever they want, I guess.
I mean, there's no way that the last match of WrestleMania is not going to be Cena and Cody.
Yeah.
That's your go home.
Hector Caballero in 1996. If you had never left the WWF, what or where do you think your Diesel character would have gone storyline-wise? Do you think you would have possibly had another world title run, or would have you stayed in the upper mid-card?
I was in the upper mid-card. I was co-main event at WrestleMania 12.
No, if you'd stayed there, would you have had another run, a title run? Was there talk about where it was going to go?
No, I was gone.
Right.
That's butterfly effect, man. I don't know.
Right.
If I would have went to Michigan State, maybe I'd have, had a pro career and died in a car
Irvin would have
wreck.
been dishing to you, bro.
Yeah, I mean, and died in a car wreck in Lansing my sophomore year because I drank. So I don't know.
Give me one from the house, Wes. What was Eric Young supposed to be, your pupil or something in TNA? That's from Ace Ramon.
No, he was my buddy. He's my tag team partner.
Mm-hmm. He's suggesting like an acolyte.
I think that
angle.
Alex Shelley was more of my under the learning tree storyline wise.
Okay. Instagram, a wrestling historian, asks, what was your favorite storyline that you did when you were WCW booker? Thanks in advance.
My favorite was Lenny and Lodi.
Really?
Yeah, they kept having these like weird coincidences. They looked at each other in the shower, and the storyline was good. Everybody thought storyline wise before the standard in practices pulled the angle that they were gay, and they were going to find out that they were both adopted and they were brothers. That's where the storyline was going, but because standard practices were
the old S&P days.
Yeah, so they fucked that up. So that was my favorite storyline.
Kliq This is a production.
That never happened.
Kliq This is a production of Butch and Sundance Media, produced in association with Podcast Heat, created by Tristan Nash, Kevin Nash, and Sean Oliver, producer Steve Kaufman, graphics by Dominic D'Angelo, title sequence and audio edit by Wesley Burleson, theme song by Dale Oliver, technical research by Tristan Nash, copyright 2025, Butch and Sundance Media. Hey, Kev. You want to do another?
As much as I want to watch Peaky Blinders.
Customer service never answers the thing.